Good morning, or excuse me, good afternoon, everyone. This is Dragon King 72 Media, LLC. I'm Gregory. Um, this video will be about Renee Nicole Good. She was the mother of a child. Unfortunately, she is now deceased by ICE agents, and she lost her life a few days ago in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And we all have seen the videos by now. Everyone should have. Um, hours after it happened, I saw one or two angles. The next day, it was three angles. I woke up today. It's like five angles of different angles of her being shot. And there's no way that this can be seen other than cold-blooded murder. Cold-blooded murder. That's the only way that this can be seen. And this is not the first time that ICE has unalived somebody, committed homicide. This is one of the many, but because of the circumstances around how Renee Nicole Good passed, it's going viral because, the footage just can't be denied. The footage cannot be denied. From all angles, it does not look like, regardless of what Kristi Noem has said in her cosplay uniform down there by the border. I think was it Bronzeville, Texas, or wherever the fuck she was, with her big cowboy hat on, saying that this lady was a domestic terrorist. No, she wasn't a domestic terrorist. This is the narrative that they're spinning out here, so that at any time that someone is fatally shot by ICE, specifically when the person had no ill intent to harm them, or like Renee was trying to leave the scene the way she was told to leave the scene, and yet still get shot in the face. Because if you look at the angles, the first angle that I saw was in the back, where she is putting the car in reverse. She's turning right while the officers are coming from the left side of her. She's putting the car to reverse so she can move the fuck out the way like they requested, and then turn away from them to keep on going. By the way, she lived in that neighborhood. I don't know what side of the street her house was on, but she lived on that block. So she's trying to divert the situation when they told her to get the fuck out of here. So she puts the car in reverse, tries to go right. Now, mind you, there's no reason for them to claim that she was trying to run them over with the vehicle. You can clearly see that she's doing whatever she needs to get the fuck out of there as per their request. So she turns, and he's pointing a gun at her at the side. So while the one officer is I guess trying to pull her out the car after they told her to leave and she complied, the one who actually killed her goes out of his way, goes in front of the vehicle as she's trying to get away and move out the way. He shoots her 3 times in the fucking face. Then she eventually drives, she swerves, and she hits the car in front of her. And then I believe it was a tree right there. But y'all go check out the video. There's no way to spin this shit, because there are 5 different angles. And of course, Donald Trump, old ass, small dick, motherfucker, Oh, I'm so happy that the ICE officers are okay. The ICE officer was never fucking injured. Nobody on that street that was an ICE officer was fucking injured. Then there are reports that there was a doctor on scene once. Renee had, at that point, they were, pretending to call 911. And I mean, just look at the guy who shot her. There was no urgency. There was no urgency to get on the horn. There was no urgency at all. You just shot this woman. She crashed. There was no urgency when he was moving. When the guy who shot her, when he initially went back to the truck after she crashed, after being shot, he shot her in the face. He turns around and calls 911. When I tell you, looking at that video, the lack of remorse, the lack of attention to getting her medical attention was fucking just astronomical. I mean, it was like he had went dead at that point. Like he wasn't trying to make sure that she had any medical attention. Also, there's another angle of them pretending to take care of her, not moving fast enough. There's a physician that says, I'm a physician. Let me get her pulse. Let me get in there. I'm a physician, I promise. Now he's letting her know. He's letting the officer know. The ICE officer then says, we have our own medical team. Looking at their own medical team, they're fumbling around, not doing what they're supposed to do. She was probably dead then, but they didn't want to admit it. And then all of a sudden he gets rushed off. The guy that shot her, the ICE officer that shot her, he gets rushed off to somewhere. He gets rushed off to somewhere. Like they're trying to protect him. You should be trying to protect the woman and save her life. That's what they were supposed to be doing. Instead of worrying about his fucking safety, driving him off like he's some fucking high official. So, then you got people like Scott Jennings on Newsnight with Abby Phillips. He's trying to defend the situation. Sure, Michael Booster C. Singleton, he's doing the same fucking thing. That ain't my term, by the way. That was termed by a gentleman, I don't know his name, some Dominican gentleman who has a YouTube channel called Couch Politics, but it's very fitting for Sure Michael and Scott Jennings. And so I'm like, what the fuck is this? I'm like, this is absolutely crazy. This is absolutely crazy what's going on in the streets. Now, if I was Governor Walz, yeah, there's a Medicaid scandal lingering. There's a Medicaid scandal lingering in Minnesota with all this going on. If I was Governor Walz, I would rescind that withdrawal to run again as governor of Minnesota. I would withdraw. He should have just waited anyway and waited it out. You know what I'm saying? He should have just waited it out and see what became of this whole supposed medical fraud that's going on in Minnesota. He should have just waited till all the facts came out, and then he should have made a decision to withdraw from the governor's race to be re-elected as governor of Minnesota. Because I would have waited. I would have requested my own inquisition into this medical fraud that Nick Shirley did a while ago, and that's some bullshit too. The man don't even know. He looked like he playing in his mama's basement, you know what I'm saying, with his sex toys. But and he just happened to, he had gave himself an hour off from playing with himself and decided to go do some fake journalism. But whatever. So if I was Governor Walz, I would rescind my, I guess, withdrawal to be the governor of Minnesota. Because right now, I would just, with all this shit that's going on, unfortunately the lady had to pass away, and her family, and now she has an orphan child. I still think this would have been something for him to consider. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and I'll see you later.